The Overture of No Thoroughfare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Alan Chant. No Thoroughfare by Charles Dickens. Act 1 and Act 4 of this book were jointly written by Charles Dickens and Wilkie Collins. The Overture. Day of the month and year, November the 30th, 1835. London time, by the great clock of St. Paul's, 10 at night. All the lesser London churches strain their metallic throats. Some flippantly begin before the heavy bell of the great cathedral, some tardily begin 3, 4, half a dozen strokes behind it. All are in sufficiently near accord to leave a resonance in the air, as if the winged Father who devours his children had made a sounding sweep with his gigantic scythe in flying over the city. What is this clock lower than most of the rest, and nearer to the ear, that lags so far behind to-night as to strike into the vibration alone? This is the clock of the Hospital for Foundling Children. Time was when the foundlings were received without question in a cradle at the gate. Time is when inquiries are made respecting them, and they are taken as by favour from the mothers, who relinquish all natural knowledge of them, and claim to them for evermore. The moon is at the full, and the night is fair with light clouds. The day has been otherwise than fair, for slush and mud, thickened with the droppings of heavy fog, lie black in the streets. The veiled lady who flutters up and down near the postern gate of the Hospital for Foundling Children has need to be well shod to-night. She flutters to and fro, avoiding the stand of hackney coaches, and often pausing in the shadow of the western end of the great quadrangle wall, with her face turned towards the gate. Above her there is the purity of the moonlit sky, and below her there are the defilements of the pavement. So may she, haply, be divided in her mind between two vistas of reflection or experience. As her footprints, crossing and recrossing one another, have made a labyrinth in the mire, so may her track in life have involved herself in an intricate and unravellable tangle. The postern gate of the Hospital for Foundling Children opens, and a young woman comes out. The lady stands aside, observes closely, sees that the gate is quietly closed again from within, and follows the young woman. 2 or 3 streets have been traversed in silence before she, following close behind the object of her attention, stretches out her hand and touches her. Then the young woman stops and looks round, startled. "You touched me last night, and when I turned my head you would not speak. Why do you follow me like a silent ghost?" "It was not," returned the lady in a low voice, "that I would not speak, but that I could not when I tried. What do you want of me? I have never done you any harm." "Never." "Do I know you?" "No." "Then what can you want of me?" "There are 2 guineas in this paper. Take my poor little present, and I will tell you." Into the young woman's face, which is honest and comely, comes a flush as she replies: "There is neither grown person nor child in all the large establishment that I belong to, who hasn't got a good word for Sally. I am Sally. Could I be so well thought of, if I was to be bought? I did not mean to buy you. I only meant to reward you very slightly." Sally firmly, but not ungently, closes and puts back the offering hand. "If there is anything I can do for you, ma'am, that I will not do for its own sake, you are much mistaken in me if you think that I will do it for money. What is it you want?" You are one of the nurses or attendants at the hospital. I saw you leave tonight and last night." "Yes, I am. I am Sally. There is a pleasant patience in your face which makes me believe that very young children would take readily to you." "God bless 'em, so they do!" The lady lifts her veil and shows a face no older than the nurse's. A face far more refined and capable than hers, but wild and worn with sorrow. "I am the miserable mother of a baby lately received under your care. I have a prayer to make to you." Instinctively respecting the confidence which has drawn aside the veil, Sally, whose ways are all ways of simplicity and spontaneity, replaces it, and begins to cry. "Will you listen to my prayer?" the lady urges. "You will not be deaf to the agonized entreaty of such a broken supplicant as I am?" "Oh, dear, dear, dear!" cries Sally. "What shall I say, or can say? Don't talk of prayers. Prayers are to be put up to the good Father of all, and not to nurses and such. And there! I am only to hold my place for half a year longer, till another young woman can be trained up to it. I am going to be married. I shouldn't have been out last night, and I shouldn't have been going out tonight, but that my Dick (he is the young man I am going to be married to) lies ill, and I help his mother and sister to watch him. Don't take on so, don't take on so!" "Oh, good Sally, dear Sally!" moans the lady, catching at her dress entreatingly. "As you are hopeful, and I am hopeless; as a fair way in life is before you, which can never, never be before me; as you can aspire to become a respected wife, and as you can aspire to become a proud mother, and as you are a living, loving woman, and must die, for God's sake hear my distracted petition." "Deary, deary, deary me!" cries Sally, her desperation culminating in the pronoun. "What am I ever to do? And there! See how you turn my own words back upon me! I tell you I am going to be married, on purpose to make it clearer to you that I am going to leave, and therefore couldn't help you if I would. Poor thing, and you make it seem to my own self as if I was cruel in going to be married, and not helping you. It ain't kind. Now, is it kind, poor thing? Sally, hear me, my dear. My entreaty is for no help in the future. It applies to what is past. It is only to be told in 2 words." "There! This is worse and worse," cries Sally. "Supposing that I understand what 2 words you mean." "You do understand. What are the names they have given my poor baby? I ask no more than that. I have read of the customs of the place. He has been christened in the chapel, and registered by some surname in the book. He was received last Monday evening. What have they called him?" Down upon her knees in the foul mud of the by-way into which they have strayed, an empty street, without a thoroughfare giving on the dark gardens of the hospital, the lady would drop in her passionate entreaty, but that Sally prevents her. "Don't, don't! You make me feel as if I was setting myself up to be good. Let me look in your pretty face again. Put your 2 hands in mine. Now, promise you will never ask me anything more than the 2 words. Never, never. You will never put them to a bad use if I say them. Never, never. Walter Wilding." The lady lays her face upon the nurse's breast, draws her close in her embrace with both arms, murmurs a blessing and the words, "Kiss him for me," and is gone. Day of the month and year, the first Sunday in October, 1840.